This is a warning. The Grim Reaper of radio, Bob Romanik, with his off-the-record show is about to air. He's probably the nastiest and craziest son of a bitch that you've ever had the misfortune to encounter. The Grim Reaper show will be very controversial and probably quite tasteless. If you are even slightly offended by controversial matter concerning religion, racial matters, politics, or life's problems, you are hereby warned to turn this program off immediately. The Grim Reaper show will be, like his face, very scary and very ugly. At this time, not proudly, but shamefully presents to you Bob Romanik, the craziest son of a bitch on the radio today.
This is Bob Romanik, the Grim Reaper of radio, and you're listening to the all-new KQQZ 1190 AM, America's bi-state voice of freedom, your guardian of the First Amendment, Radical Radio. And we are, as always, proud, very proud to be the Patriot. Hey, it's a good Monday morning. We're going to take care of our little bit of housekeeping. Then I want to thank everybody that came out to Grafton, and I'll do that in a few minutes. And then we're going to go crazy. We're going to go to Cahokia. We're going to go to East St. Louis. We're going to go any place you good people want to go, anytime. Well, anytime that I can get you on the air, but if I'm going crazy, I don't give a damn about you because I got to say what I got to say. But that's not being disrespectful. That's just being honest. So, but please, we are America's voice of freedom. We are proud to be the Patriot. You can call toll-free 1-888-394-1430. On the east side, 394-1190. And don't be afraid to call. If I can get you in, I will. I'll try my damnedest. Today may be a good day to get with me because I'm so pissed off. I don't know where the hell I'm going, but we'll know where we're going when we get there. St. Stephen's Parish, all-you-can-eat chicken dinner coming up Saturday. I guess this Saturday, June the 27th, our good friends, Mayor Black and all of our good friends out in the beautiful village of Caseyville, Illinois. St. Stephen's Parish, all-you-can-eat chicken dinner. Fried chicken, mashed potatoes. You know the routine. It'll be from 3 to 7 p.m. at Vote Hall at 157 in Caseyville, Illinois. $10 for adults, $5 for children, $7 for seniors. Don't forget the huge Friedrich fireworks display coming up this Saturday, June the 27th, 5 o'clock p.m. at Three Springs Park in Shiloh, Illinois. There'll be great music. They're going to have the Troubadours, Little Sister, Elvis and the Flashbacks, and the Singing Sheriff. Admission is free. They're going to have a food court out there by Royale Catering, so you guys need to come out. If you have any questions or concerns, you can call 888-432-1232. Cosmic Bingo coming up Saturday, June the 27th at the Quail Club, located at 8303 Concordia Road. I guess that's Concordia Church Road in Belleville, Illinois. $25 per person. If you have any questions or concerns, you can call D. Scott at 618-235-0643. Let's see if we got anything else here before we... Yeah, that's all we got. Don't forget, you can pick me up on iTunes. You can type in Bob Romanik and or the Grim Reaper of Radio. You can go to our streaming, insanebroadcasting.com. One word, common spelling. You can like us on Facebook at KQQZ 1190 AM or our sister station, the best in the golden oldies, at KZQZ 1430 AM. You can also hear my repeat performance every day at 4 o'clock p.m. And as always, we broadcast Monday through Friday from the graveyard to the graveyard shift at the stroke of midnight every night, Monday through Friday. On this date, June the 22nd, 1772, slavery was outlawed in England. On this date, a great date in history, for me anyway, June the 22nd, 1847, the donut was invented. On this date, June the 22nd, 1869, Congress passed an act to create the Department of Justice. It supervises all government police, the FBI, and the Bureau of Prisons. On this date, June the 22nd, 1870, 1 year later, Congress actually created the Department of Justice, headed by the Attorney General. On this date, June the 22nd, 1874, and I know the good people in Cahokia will like this, lawn tennis was introduced. I don't even know if people in Cahokia know what, I don't even know what the hell lawn tennis is. Don't get mad at me, people in Cahokia. I like you guys. I'm just giving you hell. On this date, June the 22nd, 1941, Hitler forces attacked Russia. On this date, June the 22nd, 1969, Judy Garland died. On this date, on this date today, I think my career died too, so there's 2 deaths today. On this date, June the 22nd, 1970, President Nixon signed a law into bill giving 18-year-olds and older the right to vote. That's what happened on this date, June the 22nd, throughout all these years in our world's history. I have to talk about Friday. I put word out Thursday and Friday. Our good friends at the Hog Pit Barbecue Barn in Grafton, Steve Caston, he's got the Hog Pit Barbecue Barn, and it's at the lowest point in Grafton. And when the water comes up, that's the first place to get flooded. And I asked for some help from our listeners, and I could not believe the 60, 70, 80 people that came out that heard it on the radio station. I want to thank all you guys. What a great group of people. Everybody got together. Nobody knew each other, but everybody said, hey, Bob, now I see what you say, that your show and your face are ugly and scary. I don't know why the hell they give me that crap, but they did. But bunch of great people, and I have to acknowledge them. It's going to take just a minute or two, but I want to acknowledge some of the people and all the great people that came up to the Hog Pit. Most people didn't know Steve Caston, didn't know the owner of the Hog Pit. I had two great people, Frank and Sharon Essen. They come all the way up from Bonne Terre, Missouri, to come out and help the cause. So Frank and Sharon Essen, I want to thank you guys. They live in South City. They were down in Bonne Terre. They came all the way up to help the cause. I want to say hi to Terry and Mary Kay Barger from Granite City. Also, John and Crystal Plummer. They're from Godfrey, and I want to wish them a belated. They had their 28th wedding anniversary on Sunday, so I want to wish them a very, very happy 28th wedding anniversary. Also, Mark Rhodes from Wood River. He's a master carpenter at Principia College up in Elsa, Illinois. And I wanted to say hi to him and his good friend Bill Darr. And Bill, Mark said, you better do some damn work. He's tired of doing all the work. No, he actually said you were a nice guy, Bill. And also, Mark Rhodes, who's a master carpenter up at Principia College, said they unearthed a woolly mammoth, which is on display. Now, I don't know what a woolly mammoth is, but it's on display at the Science Center. I guess that's an old dinosaur or something from the past, but that's okay, Mark. I got you beat by one, I guarantee you. I unearthed the woolly mammoth. Well, no, it was a Sasquatch, actually, Sasquatch Kern. I unearthed her at 111 South High Street in Belleville, Illinois, so I'm one up on you. And of course, I want to apologize for the woolly mammoths. I don't even want to compare them to that stinky, rotten, no-good bitch that I call the Sasquatch Kern. Chris Lynn, who works at Hanks in Belleville, I want to say hi and thank him. And Ken Hudson out of New Melly, Missouri, came all the way over to Grafton to help in the cause. Few more, got to bear with me. Jim Kostanek from Washington County, Illinois. And also, I had a gentleman call and say Bob Bittner. He owns a DuQuoin ice cream and fudge shop, Ye Old Country Store in DuQuoin, and they listen all the time, and I want to say thanks to them. Jim Phelps from Waltonville, Illinois. He's a grain and dairy farmer. He listens to me on his combine. And Lawrence and Penny Spotkansky out of Du Bois, Illinois, and Wendell Norris from Waltonville, Illinois, Norris Trucking, all those good people. You know, it's amazing. It's amazing for all of us in America. We always talk about the bad things, but when you see how we can all get together and work together, and I tell you what, I wish there had been some high school students up there to get a lesson in civics, because people came out of the woodwork to help our good friends in Grafton. And I want to tell you, I sincerely appreciate it. We give out some hat shirts. We had a good lunch. So everybody, again, thank you, thank you, thank you. Didn't know this guy. That's what America's all about. So we can talk about bad, and negative always sells. But at some point, we got to pat ourselves on the back, because we are a great country. We just can't let these rotten bastards tear us up. Also, speaking of Grafton, everybody in Grafton knows, and when they come through Grafton on the weekends, there's some motorcycles, but they're not motorcycle gangs. They're motorcyclists who are lawyers, doctors, police officers. They're a bunch of good guys. But on the weekends, they have a lot of bands up there. It's really a great time, and that's what helps keep Grafton alive, financially and otherwise. And I want to salute Mayor Tom Thompson, a great mayor from Grafton, and also the chief of police, Chris Sullivan. They hold that town together very, very well. But now they tell me, got two real idiots on the board, a Sarah Carey and a Florence Rowling. They're two Grafton alder ladies. Two stupid, what word can I use not to get in trouble? Two stupid bitches. These stupid idiots, they want to stop all the bands in Grafton. They want to limit the bar licenses to 5. Hey, I got to say one thing. Sarah Carey and Florence Rowling, you know, maybe you better go get laid. I don't know. What the hell? Something ain't right. Something ain't right with you two people. What the hell? Are you guys going to support the little village of Grafton? There's a lot of tax revenue come in. Now, it's not a perfect situation. Sometimes the bands get a little loud. You know, there's a marina out there. It's just a great place to visit and a great place to live. I actually have a condo up there, and they allowed me to have one if I just use it as a summer thing. They told me if I lived up there, they're all moving out. Hell, there'd be a ghost town. So I'm not going to ever move to Grafton. I may move to Cahokia. I don't even think they want me in Cahokia. May move next to my good friend Jerry Nichols, and I'll screw up his property values. I guarantee you his property values will go down probably $50,000. But anyway, Sarah Carey and Florence Rowling, why the hell? You guys got elected to the board. Why don't you try to do something constructive, you idiot bitches? You can't take a town of Grafton and shut down the wineries. You can't shut down the bars. You don't want to shut down the restaurants, but they'll eventually be shut down, because without alcohol, there's not going to be any restaurants. So unless you guys have won $20, $30, $50 million in the lottery, you stupid, ignorant bitches, Sarah Carey and Florence Rowling, let the businesses, let the hog pits, let the Aries Winery, let the loading dock, let all the traditional places in Grafton stay in Grafton and work with them. There's never going to be a perfect place to live. There's never going to be a place where there's not going to be a headache or two, especially with your neighbors. But that's just the way of life. So you two idiots in Grafton, back your ass off, get laid, go do something. You guys are too tense and nervous. I don't know how old you two gals are. I don't even know if you're married. But as big as bitches as you guys are, maybe you ought to marry each other. There's same-sex marriages in Illinois. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. I'm just asking. But don't screw up the town of Grafton. And I hope Tuesday night that the political leaders and the people of Grafton will unite and let these two idiots, these two bitches, let them know that they don't control the town, that the good people of Grafton, they control the town. So that's just my little ranting and raving on that one. Curtis McCall Jr. and Curtis McCall Sr., you two stupid, no-count, low-life, good-for-nothings pieces of black crap. I hear from good sources, and I was told over the weekend, that these two selfish political idiots have shut down the food pantry in Cahokia, which fed many of the less fortunate people all throughout St. Clair County. What What are you gonna do? Are you gonna make? And I personally believe that the McCalls would do this. What are you gonna make feeding the poor, the hungry, the less fortunate? Are you gonna make that a political play too? You no-count rotten bastards. What real pieces of crap you McCall's team? And I say team, and it's your family. What pieces of crap you are? For what reason? And Curtis McCall Sr., I'm challenging you to call me out. And give me a call at 394-1190 and explain. I'd have your son explain, but I think you have to wipe his ass when he takes a crap. I think he's that stupid. I really think. And Mike Crockett Jr., what the hell are you doing in town? But Curtis McCall Sr., why? Why would you want to stop the poor people from getting food? You've shut down the food pantry in Cahokia, Illinois, and I know why you've done it, Curtis McCall. You want to put one of your people in there, and you want to be like Francis Touche. Everybody in Cahokia and Centerville Township remembers Francis Touche. I worked for him. I was his bodyguard. He took all that food, and that's good. He took all that food, but it was always for political reasons. Every time you got a potato, every time you got a head of lettuce, every time, and I don't want to talk bad about Francis because he was my friend. He wasn't right a lot of times, but he was my friend. But he would use that food to get votes. Hey, now you know that's me, Francis Touche, Township Supervisor. And for you people out there, you know what I'm talking about. It happened years back with Joe Sickich in Canteen Township. They would give out free cheese and free butter that the government give us. And they would say, hey, it come from us. Give us a vote. And how egregious is that, McCalls, you no-count rotten bastards? You can play politics. You can play dirty politics. And people understand it's not right. They don't agree with you. But we understand. But when you take and start taking the less fortunate people, the people that are homeless, the people that are hungry, and you rotten son of a bitch, I went to bed starving many nights when I was younger. And I hate a no-good son of a bitch who'll do that to the less fortunate people. I don't give a damn, black, white, purple. A starving person, a hungry person is a person. There's no color, there's no black, white, Hispanic. And Curtis McCall, you piece of crap. You're gonna take that food pantry now and try to make it political. And I know you listen, Curtis, and if I'm wrong, I'm calling you out. You give me a call at 394-1190 and explain yourself. You can't do it, Curtis McCall, because you know exactly what it's all about. You know exactly why you're doing that, and it's a shame. And on the same note, I've got some information from Cahokia. Elderly black lady dropped this off to me. They've got a meeting. They've got a meeting coming up Tuesday night, and they're going to vote to fire a bunch of people. I got to say, Curtis McCall, you ignorant, stupid son of a bitch. I got to say, watch out what you do and how you do it, you stupid bastard. There's going to be an ordinance terminating the employment of personnel. Now, I'm going to bet you that everyone they terminate will be people that supported ex-Mayor Gary Cornwell in the last election. And see, that's our right as Americans to support who we want. But that's not right for us to be chastised, to be punished, to be fired because we supported one side or the other. You just move on, Curtis McCall. And also, there's another ordinance, transferring of personnel. Now, that'll be probably to hassle the people that was against Curtis McCall. Hey, Curtis McCall, junior and senior, this is not Russia. This is not Germany in World War II. People have the right to support who they want in an election, and even as much they have the right to have their job afterwards. Now, you're going to play with these unions, and you'd probably like to play with that thing hanging between their drawers, but you're going to play with these unions, and it's going to be nasty when it's all over. And I know you got God Sprague, and God, I want to call you out, God Sprague, you piece of crap, you no-good bastard. All the unions and union guys, you know I love yous. I believe in unions. I believe that everybody has the right to work. I believe that people should have good benefits. But I want to ask you, union guys, why the hell do you support these Democrats in St. Clair County? There is no union shop in any of the offices up at the St. Clair County Courthouse. How disrespectful is that to all the proud union members? How disrespectful is that? God Sprague, what a piece of crap. See, we found all these guys out. You've been listening to me long enough that this stuff's gonna go down the drain here real quick. 2016's coming up. The St. Clair County Freedom Coalition, it's taken off. You can't believe. And I had a gentleman today that come into the station and say, Bob, I was a member of the St. Clair County Freedom Coalition before it was a coalition because I've always felt that way. Always vote the person, not the party. I'm not going to vote for somebody. And he said, I am a Democrat, but he said, I will cross over and I'm going to vote for a lot of the people and probably all the people on the Republican ballot, because he made a good point. He said, Bob, you pointed it out. It's not going to be just Republicans on that Republican ballot. There's going to be Democrats. There's going to be independents. So it's not going to be voting for a party, because the Freedom Coalition is not a political party. It's a patriotic movement to get these rotten bastards out of office so we can all have a decent life. Let's take one call before we go to break. Go ahead, caller. You're on the dark side.
Hello?
Hello.
Yes, the food pantry in Cahokia. I've been there a few times myself because I'm on unlimited income. The food is not distributed as it should be. And besides that, it's outdated food.
Okay, wait, ma'am. Let me ask you this question. And I know you're not going to give me a right answer. I bet you're a supporter of Curtis McCall's. I'll bet you're a supporter of Curtis McCall's. Yes or no? And don't lie.
Yes, I am, but I went to the food pantry
Hey, let me tell you what, you little stupid bitch. When I come up in the Roosevelt Homes, my mother used to go to the grocery store and get the damn bologna that had green on it. Got the bologna that had the green on it. Because we couldn't afford the regular bologna. And my mother would always say, boy, this fried bologna's good. You stupid bitch, you know why it was fried bologna? Because she cut off the bad part of the bologna and she fried it to get all the bacteria out. Now, I'm sure that maybe all the cereal is not as fresh as you'd like it to be. I'm sure the milk may not be as cold as you'd like it to be. But see, us poor people, Bernice or Bernie, us poor people will take anything to fill our bellies. What else you got to say, you stupid bitch?
I still am a poor person, but I'm not going to eat rotten food.
Oh, you stupid bitch, if somebody hands you something rotten, you can throw it away. These people aren't handing you rotten food if they know it's rotten. Why don't you be constructive? And hearing more than that, Bernice or Bernie, why the hell don't you get your little bitch boy, Curtis McCall, to call and defend himself? I hate it when somebody has a shill to call, and that's what you are. But go ahead, you bitch. You got about another minute.
Yeah, well, I have nothing to say, and I'm not a bitch.
Okay, thank you very much. You're right. You did have nothing to say. I agree with you on that, but I got to disagree. You are a bitch. You see, people, here's a son of a bitch and little bitch whore or whatever the hell she is. I don't know who the hell she is or what the hell she is, but she's going to call and defend Curtis McCall. Oh, they feed us bad food. They feed us stale food. You stupid bitch. The food pantry feeds whatever they get donated. And I'm sure if it was spoiled, they're not going to put it out. But that's what happens. God Sprague won't call and talk for himself. Curtis McCall won't call and talk for himself. Well, you get Bernie. Bernie, you sound like a woman. Were you a guy? Or were you a he, she? I don't know what the hell you were. But that just pisses me off. Now, if Curtis McCall would have called, I'd have given him all the time in the world. But he's not going to call. Hey, Bernie, this is Curtis. Call there and say the food's bad and the food's stale. See, that's just like I said about Grafton. This bitch wants to play the negative. That food pantry has fed a lot of people all throughout St. Clair County. I know they have. The health district comes on there. They monitor it. And you're right. You may occasionally get somebody to donate cans of food, and you give it to poor people, and they open it up, and it's spoiled. Hey, Bernice, whatever the hell, man, woman, whatever the crap you are, why don't you go down there? You get Curtis McCall, get some of his big money and his son's big money, and go down there and buy some fresh food for the poor and less fortunate people of Cahokia and all throughout St. Clair County. This is Bob Romanik. The Grim Reaper of radio, and you're listening to the all-new KQQZ 1190 AM. America's bi-state voice of freedom, Radical Radio, and we are, as always, proud to be the Patriot.
From KQQZ 1190 AM, St. Louis, Missouri, USA, you're listening to Bob Romanik, the Grim Reaper of radio.
This is Bob Romanik, the Grim Reaper of radio, and you're listening to the all-new KQQZ 1190 AM, America's bi-state voice of freedom, and proud to be your First Amendment and all-American station, Radical Radio at its finest, and we stand tall as the Patriot. I just had a call from a gentleman. He said, you shouldn't talk to my grandma like that. When you get on the air, it's fair game. You can say what you want. I'm going to say what I want. But it pisses me off. I wish people would call and talk for themselves, not talk for these bastard politicians, because these bastard politicians, they don't have enough guts. But anyway, me and the grandson of Bernie, we got in a little argument, and it wasn't bad. You call my grandma, blah, blah, blah. And then I said, well, let me explain to you, son. And he says, no, I got to go because I got to go have sex with my grandma. What the hell is that crap? Where are you guys from? Where are you guys from talking like that? But anyway, we got another caller. Let's go ahead. Let's take another caller. Go ahead, caller. You're on the dark side.
You were talking about these people that he's letting go be in union. He belongs to a union, the teachers' union.
Who's that? Curtis McCall Jr.?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they don't give it. Let me tell you what, ma'am, and I appreciate the call. They don't. Curtis McCall Jr. and Curtis McCall Sr., they've got no scruples at all. They listen to Godsprague. They listen. They're plantation Negroes. They're not running that show down there. In my opinion, it's Godsprague. It's Mark Sweetcake Kern. It's the St. Clair County Democratic Central Committee in Belleville. And that's what happened with the ex-mayor, Gary Cornwell. And I don't know Gary Cornwell very well. I met him a few times, and I supported him down there because I go through Cahokia, and I want to be safe, and I want things to be nice in the surrounding area of Belleville because that helps my safety factor and my property factor when I go to sell my property. But having said that, at the end of the day, Gary Cornwell would not kiss the boys in Belleville's ass. He was his own man. Guys like him, Jerry Nichols, they stood tall. They stood tall for what they believed in. They stood tall. They fought for the people of Cahokia. Curtis McCall Jr., Curtis McCall Sr., they're not going to fight for the people of Cahokia. They're going to fight and do what Godsprague. You notice, ma'am, that Godsprague from Belleville, he's the new city attorney, and he'll end up making a couple $100,000 a year in Cahokia. Curtis McCall Sr. made him the city attorney, or made him the corporate counsel in Centerville Township. That's another couple $100,000 a year. So that's how it plays out. At some point in time, everybody in Cahokia, and I will predict this, ma'am, at some point in time, everybody in Cahokia will say, what the hell did we do? Why did we put Curtis McCall Jr., why did we put Curtis McCall Sr. to lead Cahokia when all they do is take their marching orders from these rotten bastard political son of a bitches in Belleville? What do you think?
I agree with you 100%.
Well, listen, ma'am, I hope that you keep listening. I hope you become, if you're not, part of the St. Clair County Freedom Coalition, because 2016, I think everybody in St. Clair County has found these rotten bastards out, and I think we're going to take our county back.
I agree with you.
Well, ma'am, thank you very much for the call. I sincerely appreciate that. Where are we going to go now? Mika, well, I'm going to go here first. And it's not really a racial issue, but now somebody will say it is. There's a congressman, I don't know about a South Carolina lawmaker, and I would assume he's a black gentleman. I don't know for sure. Yes, he is the highest ranking African-American official in the House. Now, he's saying that the Confederate flag should not be flown. This Congressman James Claiborne. And the congressman says in this article that the Confederate flag is a flag of rebellion. And I got to agree with him. And I don't agree with slavery, never did. I think everybody should be free and live free. I don't give a damn what color you are, but I can't change history. What happened in the past happened in the past. The Confederate Army was for slavery. The Union Army, as we all know, was against slavery. The Union won. There's no slavery. That's the end of the story. But it's not the end of history. We can't remake history of the past, and history is all of the past. We can't remake history. But when this leader, this congressman says that it was a flag of rebellion, may I ask you, sir, wasn't our flag, wasn't the Union Jack our original United States flag? Wasn't it not a flag of rebellion against England and the Queen, rebellion from oppression nonetheless? Our flag stood for rebellion. We wouldn't become the great United States of America if we hadn't rebelled against England. And if these idiots, if we give them the right to burn our great flag, and we do because it's a free country, it's freedom of speech, freedom of expression. If we give people, and now we've quit bitching about it, we just let them burn the flag. And that's okay. That's their right to do it. I think they're complete idiots. But we can't take rights away from people just because we disagree with them. Then we have no rights. But I would say they burned the United States flag, the great United States flag of America, because of our freedoms. Why shouldn't the Confederate flag be allowed to fly? Whoever wants to fly it. I don't agree with it, and I think they're idiots if they fly it for the wrong reason. But there were people in the past that lost loved ones who fought in the Confederate Army. And they were wrong. I believe they were wrong. But if they believed in slavery, again, it was wrong. But they had every right to believe in what they wanted to believe in. So for somebody to oppress someone flying the Confederate flag, it's just a symbol. It's just a symbol. It's not just a symbol of slavery. It was a symbol of a way of life. But some people get so excited and they say, well, if they're going to fly it, that shows they're racist. No, that's not true at all. Now, some racial people will fly it for racial reasons, and I think that's totally wrong. But to have somebody say they can't fly a flag of past history, I think that's wrong, because if we take their rights away, at some point in time, we're in jeopardy of having our rights taken away. And I don't want to make it racial because, again, I never was for slavery. I believe everyone. Hell, if anybody was a slave, it was the poor white son of bitches like me in the Roosevelt homes. We didn't have the NAACP. At least the poor blacks had the NAACP to try to get fair treatment. We had nowhere. Poor white trash like me had nowhere to go. And we had to fight for ourselves. And that's okay. That's just the way it was back in the day. But we can't change history, people. Again, I'm not for the Confederate flag, but if some guy wants to fly the Confederate flag, this is America. Let him fly it. We let people burn our flag. And again, I totally don't agree with that, but this is America. Freedom of speech. They have the right to do and say what they want. I want to stay a little bit in Centerville Township. I hear that a nice little lady was charged last week, Brendan Kelly, and I'm ashamed of you, Brendan. I'm not pissed at you. I'm ashamed of you. You charge this gal with putting a absentee ballot, not marking an absentee ballot, but putting an absentee ballot in the mail. Well, I'm glad my neighbor, didn't ask me to do that, because I'd have been charged. If I'd have had a neighbor say, Bob, I've got this absentee ballot and I'm feeling bad, it's got to get in the mail today, would you put it in the mail for me? I would not have thought twice. And I've been in politics 50 years. I didn't know I couldn't put something in the mail. I know I can't mark their ballot. I know I can't change their ballot. I know I can't forge their name on that ballot. But I'll be damned if I didn't know I couldn't touch that ballot and put it in a mailbox for somebody. See, a lot of people don't know all the intricacies of these laws. I did not know that you could not touch an absentee ballot. But anyway, they've charged this gal out of Allerton, this little cute McCallum lady out of Allerton. And Brendan, I got to say, why are you charging everybody on the opposition side? You know, you charged me, and I do want to bring it up. $150,000, 3.5 years, Brendan. They find me not guilty in 3 minutes. You don't charge Rick Stone, who took our county car for 10 years, served papers. He got fined $10,000 by the state, and the state said he was guilty of a misdemeanor, which makes it a felony official misconduct for using our gas for 10 years. You punish him by taking him over to the bread company, the St. Louis bread company, for coffee and crumpets or whatever the hell you want to eat over there. Now, that pisses me off, Brendan. We can't have it that way. Now, you're running for election in 2016, and you good people in St. Clair County, you understand what he's doing. There can't be selective enforcement of the law. That's what they do in Germany in World War II. That's what they do in Russia. That's what they do in these third world countries. So Brendan Kelly, try to be right. I'm asking about this Kern situation where our good friend Jerry Nichols swore that he went up through the authority of our police authority. He was wired to get information on Mark Sweet Cakes Kern. Nothing's ever happened there. Now that's some serious crap. It's not serious when some poor little black gal from Allerton drops a absentee ballot in the mail, but you're going to make that major. You know why, Brendan? You want the old smoke screen. While you're talking about that, then you guys are going out and doing whatever the hell you want to do in Brendan. It's not right. It's not right at all. Speaking of not right, Amika Jackson. I tried to get a hold of this bitch. You know, I give that bitch $25,000, $30,000. She sat right across from me. Bob, we're going to help fight this culture. That's all I wanted. I didn't want a job from her. I didn't want a position. I didn't want anything other than her commitment to help the St. Clair County Freedom Coalition fight the culture of corruption. And she says, it won't be business as usual. Are you nuts, you stupid bitch? It is business as usual. You have Senator Foghorn, I say Buckwheat Claiborne. He's going to be leading the charge. He led the charge for Alvin Parks for all these years. And you've got the nerve, Amika Jackson Hicks, you've got the audacity to say it's not going to be business as usual? And it's really not business as usual. I have to agree with you. At least Parks would be around City Hall. At least Parks would be in his office. I and several other people have tried to call Amika Jackson Hicks at the East St. Louis City Hall with no success whatsoever. And then I hear there was a security guard on the first floor. Now they also have a security guard on the third floor leading into the mayor's office. And a guy told me, hey, Bob, there's a metal detector, but it ain't plugged in. What the hell does that mean? It's not plugged in. But there's a security guard up there. And you try to get an appointment, and they say, well, you'll have to call for an appointment. And then we call for an appointment, and nobody answers the phone. And Amika, I find out, the city of East St. Louis needs a mayor that's going to lead. And she's right. It's not business as usual, because as I said, Alvin Parks was at least there. Amika Jackson, she makes about $75,000 a year as an administrative assistant for the Capital Redevelopment Board, the Capital Development Board in Springfield. Now, I'm betting that her daddy, Eddie the Gerbil Jackson, got her that job. Now, all you good people in East St. Louis, you're giving Amika Jackson $50,000 a year, access to a car. She's supposed to be running the city. She's supposed to be leading the city. How the hell can she lead the city when she works a 9-to-5 job at the Capital Development Board for the state of Illinois, making $75,000, $80,000 a year, having good benefits, going to have 85% pension? You didn't get that job. You weren't offered that job. But see, you weren't Eddie the Gerbil Jackson's daughter. This is Bob Romanik. The Grim Reaper of Radio, and you're listening to the all-new KQQZ 1190 AM, America's bi-state voice of freedom, radical radio. And we are, as always, proud to be the Patriot.
From KQQZ 1190 AM, St. Louis, Missouri, USA, you're listening to Bob Romanik, the Grim Reaper of Radio.
This is Bob Romanik, the Grim Reaper of Radio, and you're listening to the all-new KQQZ 1190 AM, America's bi-state voice of freedom, radical radio. And we are, as always, proud to be the Patriot. We're talking about Cahokia. We're talking about East St. Louis. Again, anybody have, well, it's too late now, but tomorrow. Lines are always open, toll free, 1-888-394-1430. Write it down. Or on the east side, 394-1190, because we are America's voice of freedom, and we're proud to stand tall as the Patriot. Amika, I talked with people yesterday. They could not believe that she had another job. And I think that's all going to come out in the newspaper. It's all going to come out about her, about the Senator Foghorn. I say Buckwheat Claiborne. Everybody drive by his house at 901 Hickory Lake in Belleville, right off Route 15 in Scott Parkway, Frank Scott Parkway. You'll see the $300,000-$400,000 house that you guys have supported. They tell me from good sources, and I've seen the some of the Freedom information. Claiborne made last year about $850,000. $850,000 of taxpayers' money down in East St. Louis. And they tell me there was no state litigation going on and only a couple federal litigations. How the hell do you come up with $850,000? But Amika, you must like that. You must like that. You got your head all up Claiborne's ass. The same Claiborne that was for Alvin Parks until Alvin Parks was thrown off the ballot. And then Claiborne started easing back towards you, and you say it's not going to be business as usual. Amika Jackson Hicks, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. Not because you took my money and didn't do what you said you were going to do, but because you've already, your first month as a mayor of East St. Louis, you've let down the good people. You've disappointed the good people of East St. Louis, and it's not going to take them long to find out that it is going to be business as usual. And I'd like to know again, Amika, how the hell can you do any business? How can you do any business when you're working 9 to 5? And I want to know this, Amika Jackson Hicks. I'm paying you $75,000 a year, and every other taxpayer. I'll be damned. I don't want you on that phone one time during your 9 to 5 workday, Monday through Friday, conducting any kind of city business. And I know you won't have a city phone to do it, so we can't subpoena or FOI all your calls. I just want to hear one time that you're conducted city business, and I don't think you're smart enough, Amika, to conduct city business. I think you'd have to make a call to your daddy, the gerbil, and make a call to Senator Foghorn. I say Buckwheat Claiborne before you can make any decision. But when you're making $75,000, big benefits, big pension, and most of the poor people in East St. Louis are starving, and then you're going to make another $50,000. It's kind of like your daddy. It's like your daddy. He makes $80,000, $90,000 a year as a state rep for a part-time job. Then he's going to get a pension. He's going to get benefits. The people of East St. Louis are tired. The poor people. And I don't say the bad people. I say the poor, the less fortunate people of East St. Louis are tired of you rotten bastard plantation Negroes living high off the hog. See, if I'm a proud black man, I'd rather starve than kiss somebody's ass. But see, Amika Jackson Hicks, Claiborne, the Senator, Eddie the Gerbil Jackson, these rotten bastards, they're all up in one of God Sprague's ass-ominiums. They're all up Sprague's ass. They're all up Kern's, Sweet Cakes Kern's ass. You proud people of East St. Louis, you understand. I believe I made a mistake and you guys made a mistake. All you can do is take a political candidate at their word. Then if they back off their word, it's not on you. You went in this election, I went in this election with my eyes open with good faith because I thought, here's a lady that's actually going to turn the city of East St. Louis around. Now she's going to have her daddy, Eddie the Gerbil Jackson, and Senator Claiborne, going to have those two rotten bastards dictating to her what the hell to do. And I have to say, I don't think she's a bad lady. I don't think she's a vindictive lady. I just think she's a dumb lady. I don't think she knows what she's doing, and she's going to get the bad information. So, Amika Jackson Hicks, we're going to be all over your ass, your daddy's ass, Claiborne's ass, and we're going to find out. And people, in passing, did you know your financial consultant down there made $485,000 last year? When you have a treasurer that has 2 or 3 employees, you have somebody overseeing the TIF, somebody overseeing the regulatory affairs, you have a city manager, and you got to pay a financial consultant $500,000? Something's not right, and we know that. Mayor, and I say that and use that term very loosely with all the disrespect because there are a lot of good mayors in this great state of Illinois. Amika Jackson Hicks, live up to your word. Don't make it business as usual, but when you do make it business differently, make it on a positive note, not the direction you're going now. Hey, I just got a good friend of mine stop in. Have a seat. Good buddy of mine, Jerry Nichols. Jerry, what the hell you doing up in Belleville from Cahokia?
Slumming mainly.
Oh, hey. I like that. What's going on in your world, Jerry?
Well, you know, the corruption in Cahokia right now with McCalls and Crockett's and the rest of them. So I'm just giving a shout out to all the union members, guys and girls that need to show up at that meeting tomorrow night. It's being terminated. So they all know who they are. So can't mention no names, but I'd sure like all the 520 people everywhere to show up and support the union people in Cahokia.
See, Jerry, I think you're right. I know you guys have always, and I know Mayor Carnwell has always negotiated in good faith with the unions, and there's union contracts, and everybody has to live by them. But now, Curtis McCall is telling everyone, well, God Sprague said we can do this and do that. Well, God Sprague, if you're listening, and I know you are, you're not God anymore, see? You're just a little man behind the curtain. You cannot go back on contracts with the union. You cannot go back on a written contract with anybody. Now, what's going to happen? They're going to try to fight, and they're going to play politics, Jerry, and it's going to cost you good people of Cahokia, the hardworking taxpayers of Cahokia, a lot of legal fees and a lot of settlement money.
Yeah, there'll be a lot of settlements, and you know, there's going to be a lot of litigation. I know there is. So just going to have to go with the union, see what we got. We got a good union, so I hope everything turns out right for them. Yeah,
well, I hope so, too. And I would tell you, union guys, God Sprague's the city attorney. God Sprague, the same guy that you all support, and that's your right to support him, all you hardworking union guys, all you laborers. But you see what he's doing? He's going to try to tear the local union apart. And if he's going to do that, he shows no respect for you guys, and all the unions can get together. And at the end of the day, come 2016, you can sure pay him back and show him the disrespect that he deserves. I saw here there was an article in the paper, since we're on Cahokia, just to have a couple minutes, that Bob Sprague says you don't need to be on the permit in somebody's house to vote. And this gentleman here says, well, I guess in the next election, I should be able to register 10 to 20 people in my house, since all they're going to do is use it for their voting rights. Maybe all the residents of the Cahokia, the ones who really voted, should do that in the next election. Then maybe God Sprague and the McCall team and the St. Clair County Goons won't win. Remember, you don't have to live here to vote here. That sounds like East St. Louis. That's really good. That's a great slogan. Come to East St. Louis. Come to Cahokia. Come to St. Clair County. You don't have to live here to vote here. What a great slogan. Thank whoever called this in. Really it is a great slogan. Remember, and if we stop you from voting, that's called voter suppression, and that's what Curtis McCall and those rotten, stupid bastards tried to call it. So we're going to stay on Cahokia. We're going to get all over you, Amika. We're going to get on Mayor Eckert, that stupid pussy boy bastard, but we don't have time today, so we'll be around tomorrow. Gotta go. This is Bob Romanik. The Grim Reaper of radio, and you've been listening to the all-new KQQZ 1190 AM, America's bi-state voice of freedom, radical radio, and we are, as always, proud, very proud to be the Patriot. Come on back tomorrow. We'll continue day in and day out to fight the cause. And again, people, it's not going to be easy, but it has to be done. We have to rid St. Clair County of this political cancer. You have to get rid of cancer before it destroys you. We've taken the first step, the St. Clair County Freedom Coalition, uniting Democrats, Republicans, and independents for more effective, a more efficient, and more important than that, a more honest form of government. So let's all, men, women, black, white, inner city, outer county, Democrats, Republicans, independents, we've got a place to go. We've got a new home, the St. Clair County Freedom Coalition, and we're all going to fight. So in 2016, which is right around the corner, we'll be able to expose and drag these no-count, rotten, political, parasitical, perverted punk politicians, drag them across the political coals of hell and destroy them once and for all, so we can get back to a more honest form of government, a government that we, the people, are represented by not these political bastards, not these no-count, low-life, jerk-off son of a bitches that we have to destroy, and we must destroy. Destroy politically, of course, right here on the dark side.
They're coming to take me away, ha-ha. They're coming to take me away, ho-ho, hee-hee, ha-ha. To the funny farm where life is beautiful all the time. And I'll be happy to see those nice young men in their clean white coats. And they're coming to take me away, ha-ha.
The Patriot.